Just a joke.
Whip round, Maureen.
Put those standing starts in.
Over which Brent is asking is the first one to show in the noseband as they settle down. Diva Luna's quite handy in the black and orange, and then 6.5 on Hollygrove Cha-Cha. Jubilee Alpha over towards the far side, then being tracked by the red cap Galileo Dame. Magic McColgan, with those is Caroline Banbou and Karamoja. Then in the yellow jacket is Just a Rose, close up then is Bluey, then Tote Overly and Air Of Entitlement. Over toward the far side in the grey silks is Kitty Foyle. And then Kimmy DeMay, the grey in those green and red silks. Mystical Goddess is just behind her. Then Metcaina and Jane Eyre, who's further back through them, along with Lagertha and Queenie Sinclair. And Maureen, who whipped around at the start, is the back marker as they take and all jump safely over flight number 2. So as they head up by us, it is Brenda's Asking who now goes on. Leads it by a length over Diva Luna in second, a couple of lengths away to 6.5, who's showing in third. Then Karamoja towards the outside of Jubilee Alpha. Caroline Banbou is tracking the speed, and then Just a Rose towards the outside of Hollygrove Cha-Cha. Air Of Entitlement is next, and then Galileo Dame and Bluey towards the outside of those two. Aurora Vega is just behind Bluey at this point, and then Venusian. Behind Venusian is Magic McColgan and Kitty Foyle and Kimmy DeMay and Mystical Goddess, and then behind those is Lagertha as they skip over the first flight of hurdles over on the far side. Maureen remains the detached back marker. On they go towards flight number 4. And it's Brenda's Asking, Tom Bellamy from Diva Luna, Karamoja 6.5 and Bluey. Then Jubilee Alpha and Just a Rose and Caroline Banbou, who continues just in behind the leading group from Air Of Entitlement and Tour Overly. Then Metcaina, Kimmy DeMay and Hollygrove Cha-Cha and Magic McColgan as they jump the next flight of hurdles over on the back straight. Galileo Dame has lost a bit of ground going into that flight. Then Mystical Goddess and Lagertha from Kitty Foyle, Jane Eyre and Queenie Sinclair, and then the detached Maureen as they continue this run over on the far side and make their way towards their next flight of hurdles, which will be number 6 in the journey. It is Brenda's Asking from Diva Luna. Then came 6.5 in Karamoja. From close up, Caroline Banbou and Jubilee Alpha from Bluey, and then behind that one came Just a Rose in that yellow jacket. Air Of Entitlement is trying to make some ground between horses. Then Venusian and Aura Vega is held together nicely in midfield. Then Metcaina and Tour Overly from Magic McColgan and Kimmy DeMay. Then Mystical Goddess, and further behind Tville is Galileo Dame, who's still very much in that back wave. Lagertha is also still towards the rear of the field, and they're turning to go downhill and on their way down towards eventually what will be 2 from the finish. And it's Brenda's Asking who continues to show out in front. From in second, Diva Luna. Karamoja in third. 6.5 is in fourth, and the blue and the yellow. Then came Bluey. Close up is Venusian. Then came Aura Vega toward the left-hand side as we look at them in the red and blue. Metcaina is trying to get closer along with Tour Overly. Then Jubilee Alpha as they approach now 2 from the end. Diva Luna went on there. Diva Luna from 6.5, who's landed in second. Brenda's Asking now shaken up. Then Karamoja. Jubilee Alpha's going on the improve just in behind the gallop with Aurora Vega. Then Venusian and Air Of Entitlement and Tour Overly, and heads are turned towards home, and it's Diva Luna in the black and orange, joined by 6.5 in the blue and yellow. Back in third is Caroline Banbou. Then came Jubilee Alpha and Air Of Entitlement, and the ridden along Karamoja. Aura Vega can't go on. Tour Overly trying to stay on a bit. They're racing down towards the final flight of hurdles, and it's 6.5 who travels strongly under Keith Donahue from Diva Luna. Air Of Entitlement now in third over the final flight. 6.5 landed with the lead, taken on late down by Air Of Entitlement. Diva Luna to the far side, then Caroline Banbou on the run towards the line. 6.5 trying to hold on, but here's Air Of Entitlement who finishes the better. Air Of Entitlement has won the Ryanair Mayor's Novice Hurdle, beating 6.5. Clear from Diva Luna, Caroline Banbou, Metcaina, then Galileo Dame and Karamoja.
Air Of Entitlement has snatched it away from 6.5, and it was about a half length at the line. Rachael Blackmore with her 17th Cheltenham Festival victory. Diva Luna does the best of the Brits in third. She was set a long way from home by Ben Jones, her replacement rider. Fourth is Caroline Banbou. Fifth, Metcaina, a huge run, but Rachael Blackmore it is that has won the Ryanair Mayor's Novices Hurdle on Air Of Entitlement. What a finish, what a performance. It looked for all the world, Lisa, as though 6.5 had the race in the bag. Not to be. you can never rule Rachael out.
Absolutely not. Air of Entitlement coming out of the pack all the way up the home straight. I think everyone's eyes were drawn to Keith Donoghue in 6.5. Caroline Banbou seems to be travelling well up to the last flight of hurls as well. But on the inside was Rachael Blackmore, who was starting to get a rally out of Air of Entitlement. This mare who's won a bumper, a point, Anna Maiden her last time out, has really stepped up her form, but she has seen it out all the way up this hill.
24th festival victory for Henry de Bromhead. Even he would have thought it unlikely here. Quite an airborne leap at the last, but 6.5 starts to paddle just a shade and gives her a chance.
Approaching the last as she coached to the front. Has she hit the front sooner than ideal? I don't know. She's not exactly stopped in relation to the eventual third Diva Luna, but approaching the last, I'm thinking winding forward a year and imagining we're going to be having maybe champion hurdle discussions just as we've had with Lossiemouth in recent weeks. But a stronger stayer, a horse from a point-to-point background who's got form in the mud and form at 2.5 miles, has just had that superior stamina. But you could say the runner-up shaped like the best horse in the race.
It was a splendid finish. It was a less than splendid start once again. For Patrick Mullins and Maureen, it ended here. The grey colours, the orange hoops, middle of the picture, whips round. When the tapes go up,
Turned sideways, she flung her head up in the air, Nick, as the tapes went up. The rest of them went forward. She whipped around, gave Patrick no chance to go forward. It's a difficult start, it's a frustrating start, a race with loads of pace. None of these jockeys want to go from a standing start.
all right, what can the starter, the stewards and the jockeys do about this now? Because the jockeys are being warned repeatedly by the stewards, yet the communication is not getting through. Who's at fault? The starter, the jockeys?
It's difficult to lay blame as to who's at fault. I think you need a big collaboration here. You need communication, you need people to listen, but you need the starter to listen also to the jockeys. Horses are animals, it's hard to keep a lid on them sometimes, especially coming in from a bend.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a blame game. The law is an ass, as they say. I think it's ridiculous that we're resorting to a standing start straight away. The preferred method to start racing over jumps is a walking start. Why then revert to an option which is inferior? So think of your connections of Maureen. You've given her one run. All that time, you're building up to one day. And she's one of a dozen horses